So, wow, was that a wham line? Well, I have a few ideas as to why this might end up being a great theory. So, let's get into it with our first bit of evidence. Now, first of all, in the game of Minecraft, you are the sole human. We can tell this because even with the villagers, you are the only person that has your particular proportions and shapes besides undead enemies, or undead mobs, they're called. So, what does this say about the world itself? Well, there once were humans and now there are not. What this means as a whole is that, well, just as a thought, what if all the undead human-like enemies you fight are just your past reincarnations, your past lives, stuck on Earth in an endless search for their next incarnation? Let me explain. Okay, so you play the character of, well, the default character is Steve, and you're the only human in a vast world. I mean, on the PC and on the latest generation consoles, the entire world is endless. And you've got multiple biomes, you've got several different layers, you've got a whole lot of stuff to explore. And in this world, you've got three things that really stand out as not really belonging in the world. Number one, you have already built mine shafts. Now, this is interesting because if you're the only human and therefore you're the only one that can pick up and throw around and destroy the blocks, then how did something else make those mine shafts? Or for that matter, the strongholds and the dungeons that you find littered throughout the game. So, if you're the only one that can do that, then why are there others that you didn't build? But what if you did? What if you built them in a previous life that you had, but then you died and you came back as your next self? What if the every time you die and have to respawn, it's actually a completely different reality? And therefore, the previous reality you were in, which is identical to this new one, has your next incarnation born into it. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that awesome? I mean, that idea, just being able to see the works that your past lives have done, these tall, imposing strongholds, these vast mine shafts, these villages that you built for the villagers, and yet, I mean, it seems like that would be the only answer. But then this begs the question, and this is my second bit of evidence. What about the Enderman? Well, it's right there in the name. Ender Man. Men of the End. Now, the End is the final level in the game, and you get there by creating Eyes of Ender from Ender Pearls and other materials, and then you place them in a gateway that transports you to the End, where you free the End from the Ender Dragon, which is the final boss. But the one defining characteristic of the Endermen, well, the two, is one, they do not attack you openly unless you attack them first. They are the only non-aggressive beings besides regular old animals. Secondly, they're the only mob that can actually manipulate blocks. Granted, there are only certain types of blocks but they do move and throw blocks. And that is very interesting because no other creature, not even the human-like undead enemies, can move blocks. Only Endermen. Which leads me to believe that they are also your previous incarnations that were defeated by the Ender Dragon and turned into the Endermen. So, with these revelations, what does that mean for the end of the game when you finally defeat the Ender Dragon? Well, you free the end. You free yourself from the cycle of reincarnation. You no longer have to keep living your life over and over and over and over again until you get it right. Instead, you are able to move on. Now, where that moving on is, that's beyond my ken, beyond my understanding. But I know that there are a lot of interesting things that make this theory hold ground, hold water. I mean, the previously built structures that only you could have built, or either that or another human character, which we never meet. The only human-like characters are undead enemies. The Enderman being the only mob that can actually manipulate the blocks in the world, on the overworld. The connection to the end, and freeing yourself from the cycle of samsara, or the cycle of death and rebirth. It all fits, and it's all just a theory, a game theory. But even if it is just a theory, isn't it interesting and isn't it fun? Isn't it just exciting? I mean, seriously, you don't get many games that have absolutely no lore, no storyline beyond a simple, okay, you have to go from here to here, fight this final boss, there, you're done. I mean, you could theoretically do that within the first hour. Gather some Eyes of Ender, craft some Eyes of Ender, put them into the gateway, go to the end, defeat the boss, and you're done within an hour. It's totally possible. Not likely, but possible. I've seen people do it on speedruns. But for this to be, I mean, just think about the goosebumps that would give you. Realizing you're just one in a long line of previous lives sent here to try and defeat the Ender Dragon and free yourself from the cycle of samsara, the cycle of death and rebirth that has kept you trapped in this world for eons. And what does that mean for the Ender Dragon? Is he the source of your misery, of your power over death? Is he the reason why? Maybe he's your original self. But of course, that's all for another video. Another theory video here on The Wandering Wind. I hope you had a wonderful time watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it made you think a bit, and I hope it made you enjoy the game a little bit more. I love you guys. I'll see you guys again later. And until then, have a great one. And I'll be back when the day is new. And I'll have more theories for you. And you'll have things that you'll want to talk about. I will too. Because it's you I like. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And keep theorizing. It's been fun.